No, at that time, I didn't have anyone except for the music that was around us. But at the age of 14, in West Philadelphia, born and raised, the real deal.
It's now time for another edition of Local Legends, Past, Present, and Future on the 50 Plus One Production Network, sponsored by Perry Jenkins. I'm your special guest host, Atlas X. And today on Local Legends, Past, Present, and Future, we have Fred Brown. Fred, how are you doing today?
Listen, man, I'm doing great, but I'm great and grateful.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah,
All right. A lot of people, especially this time of the year. All right. But
absolutely.
but I'm with you. So Fred, it's great to have you here today. You know, Perry was telling me a little bit about you. Okay. And obviously you and him go way back. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And you know, when we think about the origins, you know, going back, you were an R&B artist. Now you're doing more gospel. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. But with that being said, let's turn the clock back some. Okay.
All right.
And if you could just tell me, because I always want to ask each artist this, what inspired you to get into becoming a singer? You know, how did it all start with you, Fred?
Man, it started with me through my family. My uncle, my cousins. I was the little guy, I was about 6 years old, and they were singing and doing their thing. But it was my uncle who used to sing Sam Cooke all the time. And when the family would have little gatherings and the kids would sit at the banister and look down while they were dancing and moving and grooving. So I basically always wanted to be like my big cousins, Donald and Dennis.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what motivated me to sing. And then so as we were growing up in the neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
your boys is all together, Steve and the guys on my block that I grew up, Brother Zeke, that's my best friend still today. We all would, try to sing, do I, you know what I mean?
Got you.
And so Georgie Woods was on the air, and he would have all kinds of great music and all the Philadelphia music that was out here that we grew up with. I'm just giving up some tapes. The Epsilons.
Right.
Baby the Echo, you know. I just used to like all those songs, by the moments, and I always just try to sing whatever I can enjoy.
Okay. And so you started to progress, okay, and started to maybe gain more confidence in yourself.
Mhm.
When did you start maybe actually performing? And is besides starting with your uncles and relatives of that
Mhm.
degree, what pretty much was maybe someone who you looked to as maybe an established artist in the industry? Anyone that you sort of looked at and said, "Hey, I think I would like to try to model after them," or "This is who I am," or just to get a guide on which way maybe you were trying to head in your career?
No, at that time, I didn't have anyone except for the music that was around us. But at the age of 14,
Mhm.
in West Philadelphia,
Mhm.
born and raised, the real deal, uh, on Millick Street, me and my crew, we would go around and visit our little friends. But then on the next block of Millick Street, there was a band. We heard this music being played. Matter of fact, it was Mandrill. Da, 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 da.
Yep.
And I ran and I just left the block, went to the next block, and I saw this band performing. And it just so happens to be the guys in the neighborhood. And one of them I knew, his name was Keith Dees, the trumpet player. And the band was playing. And I'm sitting there looking. It just so happens that when the set was over, I walked up to them and said, "Hey, I'm a singer." You know?
Right.
And I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm a singer. So what motivated me is the fact that I saw this band, and then I had to audition
Okay.
because they was looking for a singer. And it just so happens the name of the band was called Raw Image.
Okay. And so we were talking offset about that. So when we talk about Raw Image and then also another group called Brutus under maybe one umbrella,
Yes.
right? So give us a little bit of background on that so that everyone can know out there, that who sort of maybe was part of this Raw Image and Brutus, and around what year was this that you were involved with this particular group?
Woo, man, it's kind of going back, but it was in the early 70s.
Mhm.
And I was just going to high school. So the manager's name was Pete Rudd. Sr. He was the manager of Raw Image, and Pete Rudd Jr. was the drummer. So that's how I got involved with the band. So Pete Rudd Sr., he saw his young sons invested into them, and then some of the guys in the neighborhood that came together. I don't even know how they came together. I just heard the band playing, and I wound up being a part of that band. So once I went to the audition, one of the guys had told me some years later. He said, "Yeah, man, you were just singing your little heart out, because I just love singing. You know what I mean?" So Raw Image was formed, and we were doing a lot of local things at the bars.
Okay.
Because if you had a manager, then you can go into the bars.
Okay.
And with the management, then you had to be in the union. So some kind of way they had things worked out where if you was in the union, you paid your union dues. You can go play at Silks. I used to always look at the groups at Mousie's. I was the little guy looking through the windows, looking at a couple groups, Golden Chandeliers, group called Last August. Matter of fact, Double Exposure.
So at this point, you're singing R&B,
Yeah.
right? And you've met these bands.
Mhm.
You're in this group. So what's happening with you in the 80s and 90s? And now as you start to become older, maybe in your 30s or whatever it may be,
Mhm.
are you still singing? You're still singing R&B at this time, I take it?
No R&B.
Okay, what are you doing at that time?
I'm doing the gospel.
Okay, so you transitioned to gospel when?
Oh my God, it's about 36 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, 36 years transition to gospel. What happened to me is that while I was on my way up the ladder of success,
Yes.
there was a young man named Archie, from the neighborhood, and he witnessed to me and said, "Fred, God loves you. People like you. People listen to you. But you got to be in the world, but not of the world." He said, "But you got to give up that double music." I'm like, "What? We're not playing no double music." So what happened, my life began to change and I didn't know it because I knew what he was saying. People liked me, they listened to me. But when I went into the rehearsal hall, I was with Brutus at the time, because we formed Brutus. And I got on my little knees and I said, "Lord, if you give me time to be successful at what I'm doing, then if you want to use me, use me." Well, it was 15 years later, as we were moving up the ladder of success, transitioning with the music of the industry, talking about the music now, all the live bands, all the great stuff that was going on. We had so many awesome bands. I mean, like Pitch Black, Chaos, who else? Bittersweet, Breakwater.
Okay.
Matter of fact, Frankie Beverly at the Olympia Ballroom, we was working with all those guys, Chico Booth and the Furies. Oh my God, Tapestry. I'm just trying to remember some of the names, but we were the young boys
Okay.
coming up. And so what happened, I said, "Lord, if you give me time to be successful at what I'm doing, then if you want to use me, use me." Well, 15 years later, things began to change with the music industry
Mm-hmm.
because my whole life was tied up with Brutus. Okay, this is it.
Right.
As far as I was concerned, we were the local earth, wind, and fire.
Okay.
Literally.
All right.
And
And so now things are changing. You
Yeah.
feel you're like the local Earth, Wind, and Fire.
yeah.
All right. Did you ever have a chance with Brutus, right? Besides just in Philadelphia, did you ever perform regionally anywhere? Did you go out of state, whether it was Delaware, New Jersey, any other artists, that you may have performed, or any memorable concerts that you would just stand out for you?
Oh man, mostly for me, it was in the city.
Mm-hmm.
We did the concerts at the Civic Center with all the different artists. Matter of fact, Jeffrey Osborne, Galaxy. We worked with everybody who came in the city, literally. Confunction, Kool and the Gang. Anybody who came in with a record and they were slamming in the city, they would utilize all the local talents to go on before the artist that was recording.
Mm.
And in most cases, most of the local bands would shine so much. Sad to say, some of the other recording artists wasn't up to par
Gotcha.
because they were recording and some of them didn't have the skills. But the local bands in Philadelphia, Oh my God.
Now you talked about the skills, okay,
Yeah.
and then you're a lead singer,
Mhm.
right? So did you have any formal training with regards to singing, or is this all something that you just sort of developed over a period of time yourself? Just curious, as far as how did you fine tune your vocal skills, and at what at that point?
Well, in Raw Image, we had a vocal coach that they brought in, and I had a couple lessons. And so we never pursued all of that, but it was just more of the natural gift that God gave me. And so being in the band Brutus, dealing with our main man, Donald Robinson, okay,
Right.
he was the teacher. He was the one that made sure everything was right, made sure it was tight, no flat notes, no sharps, and everything just had to be a certain way. So I really learned how to develop through what we were doing as a unit, as far as Brutus. And once my ear was developed, because let's backtrack a little bit. My cousins was trying to teach me how to sing,
Hmm.
and we would do like Duke of Earl.
Hmm.
And so they give me the note, and when they start singing, I'm singing, and then they said to me, "Man, you can't sing," because I keep going on their notes. So I didn't know what was going on. But out of the family, here I be.
Okay. And being that you did start off with R&B,
Hmm.
and you eventually some time ago transitioned over to gospel, do you still have any mix of any type of little R&B flavor in any of your gospel music? Just curious, like, because obviously you've been in both industries as far as arenas, just as you compare the two, what I mean, are you happy with the transition you made, and also do you utilize any of that in what you're doing now, as far as maybe are you writing your own songs? How's that working out?
You see the mix. I'm glad you asked that question. It's definitely the mix because the music that I sing is gospel, but we call it good news music, which is a mixture of gospel, jazz, and R&B.
Hmm.
Everything that impacted me. So I'm not your quote unquote regular gospel singer. I didn't grow up in the gospel. I grew up singing R&B. So when you hear me, you hear the word of God, but it sounds like the guy that got that flavor from Eddie Levert.
Okay.
and and Gerald was younger, but we all came up with that Philly sound. So you're hearing what's inside of me, and more important, I surrendered my gift. So music is music. So we can't put God in a box. It's called gospel, but music is music, and it's a gift. I just chose to surrender my gift. There's nothing wrong with doing R&B. I just decided I'm gonna be sold out, meaning I can't sing a love song. Okay, I can sing a love song. I can sing Jeffrey Osborne right now,
Okay.
but I can't sing "Let Me Hold You Tight" for only one night. I can't sing that no more.
Okay.
I can't be rocking you for old time's sake, and I don't want to be drifting on a memory. So I sing the love songs that are true love songs. Like we have a song called Two Hearts. So since I sang all the love songs, God gave me new love songs with the same flavor.
Right. And when we talk about Two Hearts, you mentioned to me that this was used on a movie soundtrack. And
Yeah,
what
yeah.
soundtrack was that for?
It was for a movie called Iniquity. The producer's name was Joshua Coates, a young man from Philadelphia
Mhm.
who was doing his first movie in the theaters,
Mhm.
and total awesome young man, and he's still doing it. And his father was one of the members of Brenda and the Tabulations, so he had a great reputation of being a great musician. And so Joshua, his son,
Mhm.
had wound up being into the production with the music and movies, and we were working at a dealership.
Okay. Okay.
And he said to me, "Man, I need a song to go on my album that's about to be released." And that's how God shifted me as I was trying to get to where I'm going. He put me in position, and now I'm slapped on this compilation album
Okay.
for this movie called Iniquity.
Okay.
And it was a movie based on David and Bathsheba with a modern day twist. So that's how I wound up being thrust into that position. And from that point on, that's when backtracking, my brother Doug Grigsby He just went on to glory. He came home in '07, and that's when I was able to get my music done through Doug Grigsby, along with all the great musicians that I'm in contact with: Donald Robinson,
Mhm.
producer, Pete Rudd, Steve Green, so many, Bill Jolly,
Okay.
Johnny Crow. These are all my boys.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of your boys, I was talking to someone right before,
Mm.
um, I came here today to Perry Studio, and we're going to talk about that person when we come back.
All right.
Okay. So we're about to take a break. All right. Once again, this is Local Legends, past, present, and future. And we'll be back with more of Fred Brown right after this. Welcome back to Local Legends, past, present, and future. Once again, we're with Fred Brown today,
All right now.
and we've got Perry on the set, local legend himself. Perry, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine, bro.
Perry, you told me a lot about Fred, before we, started the show today, and you guys have a history that goes back many, many years,
All right.
and obviously, a lot of people in common.
Yes.
And before the break, Fred, you mentioned Bill John.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And Dave Poe. These are particular artists that right? And you and Perry, of course, both are gospel artists.
Mhm.
All right. So we're going to get into that.
Okay.
But before we get to that, all right. Before the break, I was telling you, I was just talking to somebody before, getting here, and Rick Rich, all right, someone
Absolutely.
he said hello. And
Hello.
tell me the history between you and Rick Rich, who's obviously has his own band, Groove Merchants,
Mhm.
lead guitar player. Tell me about that.
Well, Rich and I, we go back as children, literally.
Mhm.
I mean, we were kids on 55th and Vigus, where I lived, and we went to church. And just so happens, I seen him not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately, a family member passed. So it was like a reunion. We all were back in church that day just to be where we needed to be. But Rich, unbelievable guitar player. And so we did a lot of things together locally in the area of the music. He was just a phenomenal jazz musician and a great, great person, man.
No doubt about that. And
Yes.
I've had a chance to see Rick Rich myself
Yes.
many times performing, okay, and more recently at the Art Museum for Juneteenth.
Okay.
All right. So he is a tremendous performer. All right. And I can vouch for that right off the bat.
Smooth.
Very smooth, very, very, very smooth, and a good dresser on top of it.
Yeah.
That's another conversation. All right. With that being said, let's get right to it with Perry.
Okay.
Like I said, you and Perry go back many years. You're both gospel artists. Perry, how did you and Fred become friends? How did that happen?
Well, I knew of Fred a long time ago, when we was at Galaxy and stuff like that. He was in the band Brutus, and a lot of performances we played at. They were there also. We opened up with Jeffrey Osborne, Denise Williams, Group D Train, and his group Brutus was on the show at the Man, who was down Atlantic City. Four Tops and Jeffrey Osborne, and I knew of him. I didn't know of him personally
Okay.
until later on. in a year, but I knew who he was. I seen him with Brutus and stuff, and then like a couple gospel performances we were at. He was there. I was there, and he was there. We was both were singing on them performances and stuff, and that's what we've been doing. Hitting the gospel field. That's what I runs into him at now.
Right. Now, Perry, just so happens that I believe you also started off in R&B,
Yes.
right? And then transitioned over, just as Fred was telling us.
Mhm.
So, Perry, what was the motivating factor for you? What made you transition from, say, starting off as a gospel R&B, okay, and then going over to gospel? What was that for you?
Well, in 1997, my wife went over to Philly this Unity Day. They had this group commission over there.
Oh,
She was in church. I wasn't in church then. Then she bought one of their CDs and brought it back home to me and said, "Here, you probably like this because they got that sound you like." And she was right.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm listening to the groove, just like the R&B grooves and stuff, and harmony. Then after about a month, I started listening to the words.
Mm.
So their lyrics start ministering to me. That I'm saying, wow, so I could do this, because, and then I happened to go to California and went to this church called West Angeles, and the commission was on a play, and they was on a tour going around. They were stopping at all the churches, and they were there. So after the service, the boy Keith Staten was walking down the hall, and I stopped, and me and him had a conversation, and I said, "This is what I'm gonna start doing." And I was blessed, man. Everything else is history.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Fred, let me ask you this question, all right? Now, besides Perry being a well-known gospel artist in this region, okay,
Right.
he also has won some awards for writing music, okay, for being a writer, okay? Just curious, do you write your own songs, or do you work with someone when it comes to your gospel music?
Well, mostly I write the songs. I write the lyrics and the melody, and musically, I usually have someone who can just follow me with the melody.
Mhm.
But lately, not too long ago, I was introduced to the iPad. And again, my beloved brother, Doug Grigsby, who's going on the board, like I said before, Donald Robinson, some of the guys from Brutus,
Mhm.
they were said to be, this will be a good workstation for you. Because again, I didn't have the skills to do everything that my brother has, and they developed into. So all I had was the iPad.
Mhm.
And so once I started listening and observing, I got that little niche, and I started doing what I'm doing. And my buddies and all the guys, these brothers, if it ain't right, they gonna tell you it ain't right.
That's right.
That's one thing for sure. The musicians in Philly for sure is not gonna play with you. If it's not right, they're gonna tell you it's not right, and sit down.
Mm.
Let me show you how to do this.
Mhm.
And so when I started producing
True.
what I was doing, they were impressed. And Doug told me, he said, "Yo, man, I can't teach you nothing." I said, "What do you mean?" Because he's the pro, he got all the equipment you have back here.
Right.
And he said, "Well, I don't do garage band."
Oh,
Yeah, so he was saying, "You're already doing it," but I didn't understand what I was doing. But I was watching him navigate, and I learned how to do what I'm doing. So now,
you mean Garage Band, the program?
yes,
The program.
the
right,
program,
correct.
yeah. So he said I use Logic,
Logic.
Pro Tools,
Yeah.
and I can't forget my brother Vincent White. He's a musician that did the song "Congratulations,"
Mhm.
The Father's Waiting, along with Doug, and a song called "Dreams and Plans."
Well, let's talk about that. All right, those songs.
Ooh.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you mentioned "A Father Is Waiting."
Mhm.
Okay, congrats. When I came in, you were actually in the sound booth doing "Congratulations."
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. When did you do those particular songs right there? "Father's Waiting," "Congratulations." Tell us about that.
The Father's Waiting, we did when Doug came home in '07, Doug Grigsby.
Mm.
And so it was a song. In other words, your boy Marvin Sapp, those
Mhm.
commission guys.
Yeah,
I was so blessed by their music
right.
that I was like, man, I want a song that kind of like never would have made it. It made you like just grab. And
Yeah.
so God gave me a song called The Father is Waiting.
Mhm.
But it was also motivated by me dealing with my brothers who was going through some things at the time. And as the lyrics came, it was like the Father's waiting for your return. You have all the success,
Mhm.
but you're going through all this other unnecessary stuff. So the Father's waiting for you to come back home. And that's how the song was motivated.
All right, and you mentioned Marvin Sapp. So Marvin Sapp is sort of the initial motivator for you to come up with a song along this line.
Yes.
Okay.
And really, this is kind of strange. My buddy Vincent White, who did the music, I didn't know. It was like a hand in the glove. And you talk about commission.
Mhm.
Wow. Vincent had did a musical piece. And that's how I came up with The Father's Waiting, because it was just like, wow.
Mhm.
It was like a hand in the glove. So when I was in the studio with Doug, just so happened these two young ladies were there to come, get some instructions on recording. And they played the song, and I'm singing my heart out. And she said, "That's the commission song." you know, I can't remember the name of the song. It was a commission song that Vincent wound up revising.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Doug was like, "Yo, dude, you can't do that. That's their song, man. We have to do." He said, "You're gonna have to call the people."
Mhm.
I forgot the gentleman's name that you mentioned. I think Doug knew him also
Who that?
from commission.
Oh, Keith Staten.
Yeah, Doug knew him. He said, "Man, we got to call them and see if we could use their song." A
Mhm.
Life That Shows. That was the music. So I sang that Father's Waiting along with that music, not
Okay.
knowing it.
That music track.
But Doug, being who he is, he said, "No, we got to do something." So he took that song and he put some things inside of there,
Change it up.
changed it up, and it was unbelievable because I saw as he was, when you're doing your recording, Perry, you listen to the lyrics and it's ministering to you. And as he was doing this, I saw the Spirit of God moving him, and he hollered, "Yes, Father, I hear you." And so that song, "The Father is Waiting," is something else.
Wow. Well, that's really great, Fred. With that being said, Perry, like I said, once again, you've been a gospel artist for quite some time now. And as far as performing on different sets and going around, have you and Fred, just curious, have you guys ever performed on the same show?
Yes.
Okay, and what do you can you tell us anything about that?
We performed, like I say, when he was with his group Brutus,
Mhm.
and I was in the group Galaxy.
Okay.
We opened up for Jeffrey Osborne, and I'm over in Philly and down in Atlantic City, and D Train, Denise Williams, and Four Tops. And since we doing gospel stuff, I've been on quite a couple events with him where he was singing and I was singing too on the same event.
Now, when it comes to that, obviously you can have different types of gospel artists, okay, as you know, both of you know, okay, and whether you want to go back to like a Hezekiah Walker, okay, as an example, or you want to go forward to Mary Mary, because as we were talking before, from the sort of the more R&B minister, flavor of Mary Mary, Minister Keith Pringle, all right, or Yolanda Adams, if you want to go back to BB and CC, some of my favorite artists, okay, and let me just.
So you have like contemporary gospel tradition.
Right. So Perry, how would you sort of categorize yourself? And Fred, same question for you, but I'll start with you. Perry, how would you sort of categorize yourself when it comes to a gospel artist?
As far as my gospel music?
Yes.
It's contemporary.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Fred, what about you?
It's definitely contemporary, but we're calling it good news music.
Good news music.
It's good news music. See, because we're not going to be put in a box.
Oh, no, right.
Yeah.
See, to me, music is music.
Yes.
When you put the lyrics on it, the message on it, we want
That's
to
right.
define what it is.
Yes.
right?
Absolutely. It's a spirit behind it.
Right.
Okay.
Because God loves music.
Yes.
Now, Fred, with that being said, here we are at this time of the year, okay?
Okay.
And I know you also sort of had some holiday music
Yes.
coming out. You want to talk about that? And do you have any shows coming up right now?
We don't have many shows coming up because Christmas is here,
It's here.
So
Mm.
but what's happening, we do have the music that has been put together so that way people can get to it and be blessed and encouraged over the holiday season. And one of the songs is called Fred Brown, What You Doing?
Right, and that's and I was talking to you about that. And as far as that, Fred, any particular motivation, like when you're writing some of your own music, okay?
Mhm.
And what inspired you for that particular, maybe song as far as going or anything particular?
Most definitely. I was tired of hearing the same Christmas songs that had no meaning and no purpose. Nice songs that we came up with, you know what I mean, but no meaning. And people are going through changes during the holiday. So I was looking to have something that was going to make people feel better and heal them.
Mhm.
So what you doing for Christmas? And the song came about. It's funny, how you get inspired. I was in the bank, because when you want to be a witness, you strike up a conversation because people are going through. And so I asked this young lady. I said, "What you doing for Christmas?" She said, "Oh, I'm gonna be with my husband." And I'm like, "No, I'm just asking what you doing."
Mm.
That's how the song came about.
Mm.
What you doing for Christmas?
Right.
I'm celebrating Christ Jesus.
Okay. Well, Fred, with that being said, as we get ready to wrap up this particular episode of Local
Okay.
Legends, Past, Present, and Future, all right? What is your thought on the industry itself right now? Meaning that, like I said, you transitioned to gospel many years ago, all right?
Mhm.
And it's like I said, once again, we talk about some of the gospel artists back then to currently now, okay? And just as you see what's going on in the state of the gospel industry, okay, music industry, okay,
Mhm.
where do you feel it's at right now? As far as what would you say as far as its impact in the music industry right now? What do you feel about that, and how's it maybe affecting you as far as what you're doing?
I feel at this moment and this time, it has opened up for all of us. Since the pandemic, God has leveled the playing field because the industry has been impacted by those who are dominating the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Now God is raising up people with the heart to go forth and express what he wants to be expressed without holding back. So I think we're in a good space. I mean, it's room for everybody to do what God has assigned them to do,
Mm-hmm.
like what we're doing here. I'm just loving this.
Okay. And just curious, Perry and Fred, is there any talk about you two doing any type of collaboration song together? Has that ever been talked about?
We haven't talked about it, but it's probably something that's going to definitely happen.
All right.
Well, I can say it's already happening.
Yeah.
Okay, I can say it right now because it has already
Well,
happened.
you're hearing it right here as you're talking right
It
now.
has already happened because I love this brother. Speaking about, I get a little emotional. What you did with Heaven Bound, man?
Mm-hmm.
My God, those were boys,
Right.
and the brother that went on,
Yeah.
and the rest of the brothers.
Yeah.
Man, when I heard all that was done by Perry, I was like, oh wow. So yeah, man. So it's already on like popcorn.
Well, that's great,
It's
Fred.
on.
So I'll tell you what, appreciate having you on the show
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
Appreciate
All right.
you.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And we look forward to maybe there'll be another part two, or maybe we'll look for something on, musically between you and Perry. Okay.
It's
Somewhere
already
in-
done.
Okay. So sounds great. All right.
And I want to thank all of you, my brother, the engineer, doing what y'all do. And I do get emotional. I do get emotional, man, because when I see what God has done
Mhm.
and what he's doing, it blows my mind because people in the industry think they got everything wrapped up tight. Nobody can get in the door. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. Everything belongs to God, man. So I'm excited about what's going on here. Talking about local legends. Well, I'm gonna drop it on the spot right now.
All right.
Okay, you ready for this? Because it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Brown, the Citizens of the Kingdom presents your local vocal.
All right.
That's what God gave me.
Okay.
Well, Fred, we're going to end on that note right there.
It's done.
All right. Appreciate having you on the show.
Thank
All
you.
right. And once again, this is Atlas X, Fred Brown, Perry Jenkins, and this is Local Legends, Past, Present, and Future. We'll see you next time.
Congratulations, it wasn't easy. Congratulations, it wasn't easy, my child. You've gone the extra mile. Looks like you made it. Wearing that great big sunny smile. You made it. You're a winner. Keep the faith. You're a winner. Run this race. Mount up on your wings and fly. The light of love is shining brightly on your face. You're a winner. There's a sparkle in your eye. Go on and fly. Mount up on your wings and fly. Congratulations. It wasn't easy, my child. You're walking down that aisle. Looks like you made it. Wearing that great big sunny smile. You made it. You're a winner. Keep the faith. You're a winner. Run this race. Mount up on your wings and fly. The light of love is shining brightly on your face. You're a winner. There's a sparkle in your eye. Go on and fly. Mount up on your wings and fly. Congratulations. Looks like we made it, y'all. We made it, y'all. Congratulations. Looks like we made it, y'all. We made it, y'all. Come on and smile. Looks like we made it, y'all. We made it, y'all. Come on and smile. Looks like we made it, y'all. You're a winner. Come on and smile. Come on and smile. You're a winner. Congratulations. It wasn't easy.